To Kill a Mockingbird is a novel written by Harper Lee in 1960. The novel was made into a movie in 1962 by Universal International Picture and directed by Robert Mulligan, starring Gregory Peck. One of the main themes in this novel is that of slavery. The story takes place in Macomb, Alabama, in the 1930s. Macomb is a town full of racism and hate. African Americans are still treated as slaves or second-class citizens in this town. In order to understand the mindset of the people of Macomb, we need to understand the history of slavery in the United States. Slavery started in the United States as soon as the settlers came in the 1600s. Slaves were the labor force for cotton factories in the southern states where farming was the main source of income. Slaves were property, and the more slaves a person had, the wealthier they were. In 1865, President Lincoln passed an Emancipation Proclamation in which he stated that slavery was illegal. This was passed at the end of the Civil War when the North and South were separated. The North, or the Union, supported the idea of freedom for slaves. If slaves made it to the North, they were free. However, the South, or the Confederate States, wanted to keep slavery going because it would help their economy. They refused to free their slaves. In the 1870s, the Jim Crow laws were created and they turned African Americans into second-class citizens. The Jim Crow laws spread throughout the nation even though it was not legal. These laws were legitimized by the Supreme Court with the case Plessy v. Ferguson in 1896, in which everything is separate but equal, yet nothing was equal. After the court decision, segregation became legal nationwide and routine. Whites and African Americans were not allowed to enter the same place, school, or even watch a movie in the same cinema together. Even sitting on the bus became a conflict. These laws stood in place until the 1960s. This all changed in the mid-1950s with the Civil Rights Movement. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the leader of the movement. He believed in peaceful resistance. Dr. King was a great leader. In 1963, he gave his famous speech, "I Have a Dream," at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C., to 250,000 supporters. Even to the end, Dr. King believed in a future where everyone could be together in peace and harmony. Dr. King's effort led to the passing of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This act prohibits employment discrimination on the basis of sex, race, color, religion, or national origin. It also led to the integration of schools in the Little Rock Nine. This has brought us to our world today where freedom reigns.